something new that, sorry.
Sorry.
So it's always going to be scary, but I would recommend people to just do it and to choose the platform they feel more comfortable with at the beginning, even though it will depend on what they're going to be communicating. For some people, Instagram would work better than LinkedIn or vice versa. So I just would say it's never too late and it's never too early to start your social media communication strategy, but you have to have a clear goal of what you're going to be doing there so you can do it effectively. And it's, you know, a place to not just share information, but also to have fun with. Sometimes we take ourselves very seriously, and social media is that place where we can just relax and be ourselves.
Yeah, but how much relaxed can we be? Because sometimes we see doctors making some dances and being funny. How much fun can we have? Because I have heard, for example, there's a doctor in Chile, in South America, that he is a comedian. And he said that being a comedian, he does stand-ups, hasn't decreased. In fact, it has increased the number of patients. But on the other side, I have heard doctors from the United States that you lose credibility when you start being funny in front of the camera. So what is the limit? Are there, in your experience, are there cultural blocks? Let's say, for example, in South America or Africa, we're more relaxed, accepting funny things, while in the US is more serious. I'm just making this up. I don't know because I haven't studied about culture and social media. So I don't know what's your opinion.
You know, it all depends on your personality. If you feel confident about what you're doing and comedy is part of who you are, you're gonna do it in a way that is not gonna work against you. There are so many doctors here in the US. I follow a few of them on TikTok. And there's this ophthalmologist that he makes jokes about, you know, the whole dynamic and the ICU with the nurses and all that. And it's not because he's making fun of people. He's kind of trying to soften a little bit the stress and the hard situation that you can live in the ICU. There is another doctor here in the US. He's taken very seriously. He's been invited to TED Talk, to speak on TV, and he's a medical family doctor. And he's very, very nice. And he shares his path because he became like a professional boxer. So it's not just about the medical field. What you share is sharing your personality and who you are, because at the end, that's what connects with people. Not your knowledge, is who you are, your personality. That's what is going to connect with people. And obviously you will be targeting specific people, which would be your potential clients or patients. And those people are going to relate to you. They're going to connect with you, and they're going to feel more comfortable, and they're going to trust you because they feel they know you, just because they see your social media and they know you're a person that takes your career very seriously, but you also have the opportunity to have fun and make jokes, or even share your passions, like if you like dogs or like to go to the beach, or if you're musicians. We have many people. I think doctors in general, we have many other talents that people don't know about, and that it's like, oh, I cannot tell people that I like to paint because that's not going to be taken serious. Or I just like to go to the beach and surf because that for me is one of the things that I enjoy. And most likely people will connect with that because they say, oh, this guy likes the same things I do. So we have something in common. It's looking for that common ground with people that connects with them.
Okay, good. While you're speaking, I'm reflecting because, and then I will read the comments on the chat, because you have said that show our personality. So what is the limit? How much of our own private life can we share to humanize the account? Because I have heard that you can show professional and scientific content, But if you show that you're a mother, that you have, I don't know, that you do sports, as you mentioned, that you like dogs or the beach, that should be shared, for example, if using, because there are different tools. For example, LinkedIn is only post, but you have on Instagram disappearing stories that only last 24 hours. How much can we share of our own private life? Is not too invasive or not being too vulnerable to show part of our personal lives?
You know, that it's the one thing that you can control. So you would share as much as you want. That's
Okay.
up to everyone. That limit is up to you. So there are people that there is this trend like get ready with me, and they start makeup and getting dressed, and some of them are like, you know, in their underwear, whatever. Obviously, probably they're not doctors, but if you want to do something like that, there are doctors that share like a day in my life. So I woke up at 5 in the morning because I have 3 kids and I have to get ready for the day, leave their meals done, and they don't see me before I go to work, but I left everything ready for them so they can go to school and all that. So it's up to you how you do it and how much of your life you share. Because one of the things that it's true in social media, you will only tell people what you want them to know. True. Based on your life or the information that you're sharing. So it's not that you must show every little tiny detail about what you do. It's about sharing something that, for example, being a mom, there are a lot of women who are moms in the healthcare industry, not just doctors, nurses, dentists, you name it. So for them, trying to make a point, like proving other young women like, hey, this is the path you want to go. You can be a mom, you can be a doctor, you can do it all. Obviously, you have to do it on your own way, but you can do it all. So it's setting an example, is telling people like this is possible, and inspiring others, because social media has like 3 basic uses, is to inspire people, to educate people, or to entertain people. So you can make, you can balance the 3 of those. And again, based on your personal life, you are the one who decides how much you share.
Okay, good to know. I will read on the chat. Dr. Richard from the UK, he said, I have kept to professional Twitter and LinkedIn. It's good for post and network development. Can also helpful for career opportunities. And at the same time, I have had some unpleasant feedback from particular posts, which lasted for over 6 months. Wow. So 6 months of negative feedback or unpleasant feedback.
Yeah, Yohama, so I can tell you the example. It was very strange. Actually, it was making a positive comment about a presentation that was at a scientific meeting and congratulating the trainee on a very good presentation. It was on ME, it was on chronic fatigue. But there are a lot of interest groups who have very particular views about the medical profession and different types of treatment. And they were very upset with the presentation. They looked at the presentation material, they were upset with it, and they were upset with me for endorsing it. I really only said great presentation almost. But then they kept sending me lots of negative comments, as well as also, to be fair, their own research repeatedly for 6 months. I chose not to respond to any of it, to be honest. I just let it drift to 0, and that was fine. I think people get some much nastier feedback and than that, but you have to be quite careful about, think before you post, I would just say. And you really can't you can't predict what people might say. I think also on the personal side, like today, you can see this is the coastline of the south of England where I go on my vacation, and I'm happy to talk about that in these big open settings quite a lot and about me. But I'm quite thoughtful about what I share on Twitter and LinkedIn, because you can't take it back. Once it's there, it's out there. So, and that's the control that you are mentioning, Rosella. It's your choice, but once you let it go, it's gone. Everybody knows.
Yeah, up
Yes.
to
So
that point.
Rosela,
Mhm.
yes, the question for you. So how shall we address negative or unpleasant feedback? Shall we answer, be quiet, don't say anything? What should be your advice?
There's always gonna be someone that thinks different from you. So we cannot really control that. Usually what happens with this kind of comments, depending on who they, where they come from, how it's worded, you can very politely answer to them or just ignore them if they start being a little bit more let's say violent, not in a way that it's, you know, but it's you can get a bad feeling from that. People is insulting you or just saying bad words or trying to minimize what you do. You can just block that people out of your account. Those comments will go away. You never had to explain anyone why you did it. But if you want to start a conversation about something, that's another good way of doing it. But as Dr. Richard said, once it's there, you cannot take it back. But it's a way of starting a conversation. So that's going to happen. It's something that we cannot really avoid because we are sharing our opinion and there's people that thinks differently. So you can address it like, oh, thank you for your comment. Thank you for adding value to the conversation. And that's it. So those bad comments, usually when you answer them in a very, very, very nice way, like, thank you so much for your contribution to this discussion. That's it. You cut them. They stop because they know you're not gonna engage with them. That's what they're looking for, to start engaging in the back and forth of the conversation in a public setting. You can also invite them like, hey, if you want to talk more about this, send me an email. You can put your email there. They won't contact you probably, but let's move the conversation in a private setting so we can agree to disagree on this kind of things. So what I always do when I feel that comment is like trying to take off my authority or my expertise or whatever. It's like, oh my God, thank you so much for adding value to the conversation, because we all have different ways of looking at things.
Okay, thanks. There's another comment from Dr. Charles. He said, I'm very comfortable with LinkedIn for professional reasons. Use my TikTok account not too often lately. I do not have any Instagram or TikTok account because, in my opinion, I think they're not too good for any serious-minded or professional group of person. However, following AOHC, that is the American Occupational Health Conference 2022 presentations, beginning to consider them, but still have not taken the step to have one. So what do you think? Is Instagram or TikTok for serious people or not?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, that is, I wouldn't take away the seriousness of the people that it's using the platform, because you can find there, like, from politicians to actors, doctors, teachers, students. There's so many different people there. And there are psychologists giving advice, like, in a way, like, if you're going through this kind of things, you can contact these people. So it's up to you to make it as serious as you want in your account. But I wouldn't say that they are not for serious people, because I'm serious and I'm there.
Okay, so can you share, are there any public figures that you respect in the healthcare professional profession that have a TikTok account that you can share on the chat, maybe, that we can take a look and find inspiration?
I have here the guy that it's the ophthalmologist. He's a specialist. He specializes in glaucoma. So you can just go there. I started TikTok just to look at it, to understand how it worked. And I've learned a bunch of stuff from other things like computer technology, hacks for your phone, design hacks. There's this I mean, it's for everything. You actually have like news anchors there, like give you the news in a different way, no, in a very in the TV format that you can actually get the news easier and not so structured. And Instagram has been trying too hard to become TikTok lately. So I would say that TikTok actually is the platform with more users worldwide. And if you don't want to post anything, I would just recommend to hang out there for a few minutes and see how it works and what kind of content you like. The algorithm is going to give you that. Once you start liking stuff, you're going to see more of that. For example, if you are looking into movie recommendations or series, there are a lot of people there kind of doing critics about movies and stuff, and they tell you like, I like this movie because of this, or doctors that said, hey, if you're going to be, you know, having surgery soon, please do not eat. I've seen everything. I've seen a lot of things. So
Yes.
it's a matter of getting comfortable with it. It doesn't matter if
Yes,
it's Instagram, if it's TikTok, or if LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it's becoming a little bit more flexible now because we see it as the professional platform. But you can see people being a little bit more themselves, showing more of their personality, because at the end, the social media for the doctors is about building their personal brand. And the personal brand goes tied very closely to who you are, to your true self. So that part of you that you can show to people, or you decide to show to people, is what you're going to be sharing in different ways. There are doctors on TikTok that they dance because it's a trend and they want to just follow that trend. You're not obligated to do that, but following trends can give you a boost in your impressions and your reach and all that. But definitely don't need to dance on TikTok. There's people that don't dance there, and they're doing
exactly.
well.
I'm just going to share an example of a leader at the American College of Occupational Environmental Medicine. Her name is the Climate Doc. I think you can share like that. She works at the Boston University, and actually she has been a leader on AOHC, on the American College of Occupational Environmental Medicine, spreading the message of social media. And I respect her very much. Actually, we have published a paper together on climate change. So she's the Climate Doc. I will try to search her profile and share it on the chat so you can follow her. And she's somebody I do respect. And she's very serious about her publication. So I will read another comment. Hold on. Okay.
I just shared an Instagram account from the family doctor that is here in the US. He's very young. He's very young, not very young. He's young. I think he recently turned like 33 years old, and he's been working on his personal brand for a while now. And that, if you want to, because developing your personal brand can bring you different benefits. You can become obviously an authority in your field. You can get sponsorships. You can get speaking engagements if that's what you want. So this guy has been all over, and I think he's sponsored by one pharmacology lab. He did a TED Talk. He's been on TV. So it all depends what you want to do, because if you want to have sponsorships to go to scientific events, or to just, be the spokesperson for a specific area, that's part of what you do with your personal brand. And social media, we like it or not, it's the way that people is communicating now. So I saw something about the generational differences. I've seen a lot of baby boomers and Gen X using social media now, because we are like the late adopters of stuff, but we have to at some point get there, because it's how we are communicating and learning, as you mentioned at the beginning. So we all can be there. Doesn't matter when, but never too late, never too early.
Okay, thanks. Sharon Ismail says, I will not share my personal life. There are people out there whose sole purpose is to give negative feedback. They speak about cyberbullying. Dr. Charles says, it is very important to think through every text before sharing these days. That's very true. Actually, a colleague that graduated with me from the occupational med, she said that a third-year student from the residency was kicked out of the university because of a comment he made in the TikTok, his TikTok account. Dr. Sharon says you almost have to do a pilot study before posting. What do you think?
I wouldn't think about it that way. The problem is that also with technology, there's a lot of opportunities to get to people that you didn't even think about to reach, right? So I think now it's not that you cannot share your opinion, is that people feel entitled to just rant about it if they disagree. So yes, we must be careful with what we share, but sharing your opinion is not a bad thing. Again, you can start a conversation, about something that you feel is not working well in the world, or something that you want to improve in your practice, or if you feel like, for example, medicine in some places is becoming more based on labs and clinic studies, and not necessarily because you're examining the examination of the patient, like getting through all the symptoms and the clinic history. And I've been a patient here in the US, and they just focus on the one thing that you're going for, like, hey, I have a headache. Okay, since when? And they don't even touch you in a way that they don't really examine you. They just send, okay, let's do labs. Let's do a CT scan and we'll get back to you. And in the meantime, you can take this for the pain. So those kind of things, that would be my opinion. And I can share that. And obviously people won't agree with that. So if you want to start a conversation, you can share your opinion. Cyberbullying, unfortunately, again, we go back to people that is just not happy about their lives, and they use cyberbullying as a way of just draining their bad energy and their stuff that they're going through. Unfortunately, that ties very closely to mental health issues. And most of the bullies, unfortunately, they haven't had good experiences at home in their personal life, so they just take it on other people to make them feel as bad as they feel. So that's not gonna go away. And the other thing is, like, I feel like the more time passes, the more censored we become. So we are afraid of speaking out just because people is gonna judge what we say, and they're gonna, come back, and it's fear. And I understand that. So again, you are the one controlling what you share. Your opinion matters because it matters, the opinion of everyone. And there's always gonna be someone that doesn't think the way you do. But if you don't want to expose yourself to that, that's fine, because that's you protecting yourself. So in the medical field, what I've been witnessing is there's a lot of misinformation. So doctors who have the knowledge should be there, try to fight misinformation about stuff. The best example was COVID. There were a few doctors that took the lead on Instagram and other social media platforms to post about the studies that were being done about vaccines, statistics of how many patients were dying, how it was, the preventive measures, all that, because people that is not related to the medical field or the healthcare field, they look for information in those platforms. So for them, it's easier to just jump into Instagram or TikTok and figure out a way to find that information than going to the news on TV, because these platforms are very immediate. So you post now and people start looking at it. So if you want to have that immediate connection with people, you can take advantage of the social media platforms you have available, and you don't have to use them all. Use the one you like the most, or in the end, the one that your target audience is hanging out more in. Like, for example, if you're targeting moms, probably Instagram is going to be one of them. If you're targeting other
Okay.
doctors, probably LinkedIn is going to be one of those.
Thanks for that comment. Alpha Al-Shakiti, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it well. She said, think before posting. Whose target audience? Public, professional. I would have a comment here. I think I'm a big advocate of evidence-based medicine. So if we publish what is the latest information, being humble, because COVID was an example that of things that work at the beginning and didn't work at the end. So if we, for example, in my opinion, that is a protective factor. If we publish evidence-based medicine and we are sure that what we are communicating comes from a serious source, that is a way of protecting ourselves, number one. But at the same time, speaking about opinions, for example, I will not make a strong opinion of vaccinations or politics in public, because that's not part of my role. I mean, I'm speaking, I have my social media. This is just me. My Instagram account is for general people, it's not for doctors. My Instagram account and my TikTok account is for general public, not for physicians, while my LinkedIn is more professional. So the message is different, going back to the comment, because depending on the target audience, I even have teenagers in my account that are students from different fields, not only occupational. So that depends. Of course, the audience is very important, but I would like to ask you a question. Let me see if there's a Dr. Janvier Gazana. He says, also agree, extreme caution is needed before posting anything. You see in the online Moodle discussion forum, students have to use peer review publications. It is a different story with Instagram or Twitter, less so with LinkedIn for older folks like some of us. Thank you for that. Victorino, agree, LinkedIn for professional, Instagram for personal life. I don't know, though, Victorino. I don't know if that's I don't know. What would you think, Rosela? Is Instagram only for personal life?
No. I just sent you an Instagram account from Dr. Mao. He is an emergency doctor here in the US, and he has millions of followers, and he shares his personal life. He shares very useful information based, evidence-based information. Actually, he always, if the article is public, he posts the link at the end of the copy of the post, so people can actually go and read it. The problem is that people that is not in the medical field won't understand a thing of what this article says, so he kind of explain in a very simple way what the article says, and then allows people that is curious about it to go and read it and complement that information that he's sharing. So one of the things that I always recommend, if you are saying like something that it's a recommendation, but is related to a diagnosis or something, you can make a disclaimer like, this is for educational purpose only. This won't take away, you know, what you can have or the diagnosis that you can get at the consultation. Is not a substitution for that. If you're having—
So the disclosure has to be published on any article, on any post?
I would say so. I work with an attorney and we always post that this is for educational purposes only, because then that's another problem. People, it's gonna say, oh, this doctor told me on Instagram to do this, and there's people like that. So what you say, this is just a general recommendation. This is not a substitution of the consultation. But if you feel like you can identify these symptoms, or you're going through this, you maybe need to go and get checked up so you can have you know, the diagnosis and the proper treatment. And the cases that you are sharing, like articles and this kind of information, you might not need that disclosure because you are talking about something that you read. And you
Okay.
say, in this article published by, I don't know, the American Heart Association, or I forgot the names of the of the magazines, but the British Journal, for example, of Medicine, or whatever, you say, this is an article that was published this date or this year, and they talk about this. What they are trying to explain is this. If you want to, more information, you can read it here. So it's you
Okay.
sharing, because one of the things
That's a
that
good piece of advice.
yeah, one of the things that I think we should be doing as doctors, and I'm not practicing right now, it's communicating all the scientific knowledge that we get in very high volume, because thankfully there's a lot of people doing research, there's a lot of innovation, there's a lot of, things that are happening now. But people, like, just let's say regular people, because to differentiate them from healthcare professionals, they don't know about it and they might benefit from it. So we just
Okay.
like translate that to a very simple language. Actually, from communication strategy, it's recommended to talk and write if you are talking to an 8-10-year-old person. Not because your audience is not smart, it's because you want them to get the information quickly and learn from it as fast as possible.
Okay.
So they don't have to really try to figure out what you're saying. It's something that it's already easy to digest and consume.
Good. Rosela, question. You mentioned about branding.
Mhm.
We doctors, we don't, I don't know in other cultures, but in most, we are not taught how much can we ask for our services, or if there's not a college that established a range of prices, etc. You're speaking about something very unique for doctors, for healthcare professionals. What is a brand? How can we build a brand? I have heard that colors identify your brand. You have said that part of your personality is your own brand. Can you explain, like, for dummies, what is a brand and how can we build
Sure.
it in case we don't have it? Do we all have a brand without knowing? Do we have
Oh,
to have
yeah.
an advice, an expert supporting us to create a brand?
Well, I always would recommend to get the help of a professional to do it. But going to what you said, we all have a brand because our personal brands is ourselves. So you just have to figure out a way to be recognizable by people, so people can identify you, in the crowd. So for example, in my case, people, when they look at my pictures, I had a professional photo shoot that was produced. We chose what I was going to wear, where we were going to take the pictures. And even if they see me with my t-shirts and jeans, they will say, oh my God, you are the one that has the pictures with the pink skirt on LinkedIn. And yes, that's me. So those are things that the way you talk, the way you look, the way you make people feel, it's part of your personal brand. So actually, recently I created personal branding course in partnership with another company called Digital Marketer. And we go through the whole process of getting to know yourselves as much as you can, so you can decide what part of those things you want to be known by. So your style, how is your style when you dress, how is this visual style that the brand is going to have, what's the personality, the voice. Actually, I work with the brand archetype, so that can help you strategize your communications and your content and everything that you do. But we all have a personal brand. Branding is not just for famous people and influencers and artists. Actually, these guys that I share with you, they have their personal brand so well developed that people would know who Dr. Mao is or Dr. Mike is.
So how older, they say my dad is a medical, an internist, specialist in internal medicine. He never built a brand. He doesn't have any social media. Well, my brother opened an Instagram account. How in the past, doctors survive without a brand. Can we survive without a brand? Is it really necessary?
Well, I think they had it, but they didn't know they had it. Because when people get to know you personally, obviously there were different tools, and if we speak about what we had in the past when our parents were practicing, because my parents are doctors too, they wouldn't think about personal branding and promoting themselves. And actually in med school, we don't learn anything about business. We don't know anything about
Nothing.
marketing. We just go out to the world and, yeah, I'm a doctor. What do I do now? Most doctors become private practice practitioners, and that is a business. So
Sure.
we don't get to, we actually don't get the feeling while we're studying that being a doctor is a business. Yes, we have vocation, we love what we do, we love to help people, but at the end, medicine is a business. And unfortunately, we're not taught in school that way. And that's why people in general feel like, hey, doctors should work for free. You should see me at any time that I want to, even though we are humans. And that's why I like the part of sharing that part of our lives in social media, so they know we have a life. It's not just like being a doctor. And the personal brand helps you communicate that. Again,
Okay.
you have your
But
own
how
limits.
do you think it really, it makes a difference of having a brand and not having a brand?
Yeah, it would make a difference, because having a brand will help you stand out from the crowd, because not many people is building the brands, specifically in the medical field. However, now it's more, there's more probability that now the younger doctors are doing that because they see others doing it. But our generation and the one before us, they didn't see that. But I would bet that people that knew your dad, they know that he is a specific type of person. He likes specific things, that he had 2 kids that became doctors too, that, you know, that they enjoy probably traveling around the world. Or for example, I know a doctor that I'm sure they knew he was a pastor in his church, because he shared that about him, and he didn't have social media at the time. So people connects with that kind of things. And then before, more than today, word of mouth was a very, very good tool. Still is harder to get now people to refer you as a professional. But before, that was the way. Oh, I went to this doctor and he's so kind. He smiles when he sees you. He says jokes just for me to feel more comfortable in the room, because I get stressed when I visit the doctor. So that kind of things, that was definitely personal branding, but not defined as is right now. So yeah, colors and logos and all that comes to bind everything together. But for me, the process starts in the back end, getting to know you as much as you can. Actually, I have a questionnaire that is very insightful, and it guides you through the fact or how you want to be perceived. And also it helps you understand how people perceives you, because you start asking people like, hey, what do you think about me? How do you see me? Oh yeah, you're a happy person. Sometimes you're a little bit grumpy, or I don't like you. There must be people like that. Like, I don't like because you are always too serious and you don't relax. Or maybe I don't like because you make jokes on the, you know, it all depends on your patience and
questions here.
Okay.
I have several questions on the chat, so I will go forward so we don't miss the opportunity to answer everyone. So please share your question. We still have like 10 minutes to go. So I will start with the easy and then the most difficult one. What do you think about having 2 accounts, Dr. Ade Mutiara or Treasurer, who is beautiful on the camera right now, what do you think about having two accounts in the same platform to express different purpose? Victorino answered, one hater account and a lover account. I don't know if that's what she means. Probably not, but what do you think?
Haters are gonna hate in whichever account you have, but I do have two Instagram accounts. One that it's my personal brand that's public, and I have a private account just for my family and very close friends. So I share different stuff in there because in the
Okay.
personal brand, I'm more focused on inspiring people, teaching people, and the other one is just to mess around with my family and friends. Like, hey, I went to this place, I like
Okay.
this restaurant. And even though on the personal brand one, I do book recommendations. Sometimes I recommend movies or series because I love them. And that's part of me and my personality. And I think as a doctor, I would do the same. I would have my personal brand and I will share the things that I enjoy about life, not just the medical part. Because if you see the accounts that I share with you, specifically Dr. Mike, he shares a bunch of stuff that is not medical or medicine related because he wants people
Okay.
to know him as he is, and then he shares the medicine part of it. So it's a mix. You can have a mix,
Okay.
but you can definitely have two
Good.
accounts. I have.
Okay, Dr. Richard had a comment. Some of the best brands started small and grew through word of mouth. I think that's what we used to have, personal recommendations.
Yes.
Word of mouth may not build a brand at scale, but you may not want or need that too.
Well, word of mouth is the most difficult marketing strategy to accomplish. Once you have that word of mouth very strong, for me that's my goal. I would rather have people referring me business because they know me, they have worked with me, they trust me. Because here in the US, there is a saying that says people buy or do business with people they know, trust, and like. So that's my goal. I want people to trust me. I want people to like me. And I want people to know me. So that's why social media is a good tool, because you are in your house or you're working and you posted something today about a book you read. And that's a way that you're going to reach a bunch of people that haven't met you in person that would get to know you a little bit. And if they're looking for someone like you to help them, they will reach out. So word of mouth, it's always that we're looking for good one. There's always
Okay.
going to be the bad one too. But to build a brand, it takes time. It's not something that you have, it doesn't happen from one day to the other. And consistency in the way you look and feel and how you communicate, it's important so people start recognizing you.
So is there a time frame that a doctor, a healthcare professional, anyone who's listening can say that we can build a brand in 12 months, 1 year, 2? Are there any time frame?
No,
Okay.
because it's constant work, and every brand that you know, it's gonna evolve and change because it's a
Okay.
personal brand. So the personal brand grows with you, evolves with you, and change with you. So for example, if today you are a
Good.
fan of, I don't know, mushrooms, and then in 10 years you discover I don't like mushrooms anymore, you can say that, you can change. However, the actual vision and your mission in life and your purpose in life, that's not going to change. So that's the foundation for a personal brand, that you let people know why you do what you do and how you do it and how you can help people, but also letting them know that you're human and you like movies and you like to eat ice cream in zero.
Okay. So you just said that word of mouth is the most difficult, but it would be the
Oh, yeah.
most desirable. There are a couple of questions.
And that one is
In
free.
personal growth, and it's free, but
Yeah,
it takes
it's
a lot of
free.
work.
It takes
So
a lot of work,
Ahmed,
but it's free.
is personal growth and number of followers on social media more organic by design?
Well, organic growth is it takes a lot of work, and I can tell you that the people that started their own social media or their personal brand journey, they started by themselves, and you can do it by yourself, but there's going to be a point that you might need help finding someone to assist you in posting and keeping a schedule and helping you creating the content, the graphics and all that. It takes time. However, if you want to reach more people, the advertising or the paid advertising, it's always a good strategy because you want people to get to know you. So they go hand by hand, but definitely the organic growth is better in a way that it's not that it's better. I would love to just grow organically because the growth that I have had in the past is organically. I haven't done any advertising or anything. It's slower.
Okay.
But definitely you want to have like a balance in between the organic part.
Okay,
and
so
the
I'm
paid
I'm
part.
understanding that organic, because I'm not an expert. So organic means without publicity or without paying
Exactly.
advertising.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so when you pay, because there's another question here that a comment from Charles. I used to believe that in some areas it is unethical to advertise your medical outfit or brands. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Depending on the country that you are, you have to make sure that you know the rules and regulations for each field. Because I will tell you the example of my sister. She's in Brazil, she's living there, and she cannot advertise. She can actually she can post before and after pictures of what she does. So you definitely need to check on that. And if you're not allowed, then you have to invest time in growing organically as your personal brand, not necessarily publicity or advertising your job.
So, okay, so I got confused. Is ethical or unethical to advertise our medical brands and outfit? Yes or no?
It's not unethical. But if
Okay.
your country or the colleges that regulate your specialty disagree with that in the fact that they don't allow you to do it, there's a way of doing it. Actually,
Okay.
they will tell you how to do it,
Okay.
like the do's and don'ts about advertising your work. Yeah.
Okay, good. There's a question from Victorino. How do you choose brand marketer to help you building your brand?
That's a hard one, but I would say that you would do the same as you would do with a doctor. Get to know them, see if you feel understood by them, see their work, and if they have experience. The most important thing is trying to figure out if they have experience building brands for the medical field or personal branding in general, not necessarily experts in the medical field, but yeah, you have to look for someone that specifically does personal branding, and they would definitely be able to help you. So I work with doctors and attorneys and others, and we have built beautiful brands. And once you have that, you just have to be consistent and make sure that everything that you do with your brand looks and feels the same in any platform that you're using.
So I don't know exactly what is a brand marketer. Can you explain to us? Because for us, maybe it's a new term, and then we go to another question.
Well, a brand marketer is someone that does branding and marketing, or there are people that just do marketing that they advertise themselves as brand strategists, because branding and marketing they overlap in some points. So that's what I say, that I do branding instead of one or the other. I do both, and everything that I do is taking that into account. So there are marketing agencies that specialize in personal branding, but they're still marketing agencies. So it all depends on how they want to communicate that. Because there's people that only do branding, or there's people that only do logo design. But there are marketers, which is people that live and execute marketing campaigns and strategies, that they do the branding part too. So.
Okay. Yes, because Dr. Rosella mentioned before that for every health professional, having a brand means to have a color that identify with yourself and a logo and the way you communicate. So there's another question. I think that should be the last. How corporate communications between professional brands build trust on social media?
Well, the corporate communications, they do have a brand, like the corporation itself has a brand. And there are cases where they have a brand for, they have a communication strategy, like an internal communication strategy for their employees and all the workers, and then the one for the public. So definitely each corporation or each business has a brand strategy behind it, and that's how they decide how they communicate, what message they're going to be saying. And obviously, trust is built in truth. So if you're sharing truthful information that is valuable for people, and something that is being helpful for them and making an impact, a positive impact in their lives, that's the way you build trust. So the people that see you constantly sharing information that it's useful, truthful, and valuable, that's the way you build trust. Whether it's a
I will
corporation or
write
a
that
person.
down. Useful, truthful, and valuable. Yeah. I would have to write it, but I have to read something very interesting that Sheikh has shared on the chat. Advertising is forbidden in some countries like mine, Senegal, in medical professionals. As
Okay.
medicine is non-commercial, how can we do brand marketing which trading businesses? Very interesting, that one. I didn't know that it was forbidden in some countries. Thank you for sharing, Sheikh.
How can we do brand marketing? Well, that's where your personal brand comes alive, because you're not advertising anything. You're just letting people to know you. And when they get to know you, they would like to work with you. So you're not advertising, you're just creating content, because content marketing is a thing. And you can promote yourself with the content that you create. So again, if you are giving information that is useful for people in your community, if you're part of an organization, or if you're doing good work in the community, you can post about that. And that would lead people to, oh my God, this guy is a doctor, but he cares about the community. Or this guy is a doctor and he provides information for me that I can't find anywhere else. That's the way that we market ourselves without paying advertising. And that's the organic part of it, content that we create.
Beautiful. Very good to know. Yes. So you're not selling explicitly, but just showing what you do and sharing content is a way of marketing. Okay. I know there's a lot of questions: useful, truthful, valuable. How can we contact you? Can you share your social platforms? And
yes, I posted them a bit ago, but I'm just going to post them back again. You can find me on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and I left there the link also for the personal branding course. Is self-paced. There's a lot of good resources there. You have the questionnaire, you have how to define your ideal client or your target audience. Also, you have wow, I lost it. Oh, yeah. So there's also there part of how to create your content and how to organize it in a way that you can do it. The only thing that I would always say to people is be consistent. If you want to be in social media and post once a week, do it the same day. Every Monday, you wake up, you post something. And if you want to increase that frequency, that's up to you. But the important thing is, like, you have to be consistent. Even if you don't have a logo, if you don't have a color, just be you and show your personality, because that's what is going to connect with people. And I love personal branding because of that, because before you get to the point to get a color and a logo, we discover who you are and how you're going to be talking to people and what's your message and the purpose that you have in life. So that's personal branding. And for doctors, I think that's the best way of selling without selling, letting people know why you do what you do, what's your passion about practicing medicine, and just being you. They're gonna love you because of you. So that's what I like. So if you have any questions, that are not discussed here, please feel free to send me a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you.
Okay, we will follow you immediately. I already follow you. So thank you so much. It's been great speaking with you and
Thank you,
sharing
Tara.
and learning from you. I've learned a lot. I'm new in this field. It's a bit scary, but I would say this is my experience. I don't know if anyone think the thing. We should have support. We should have help, because I do have somebody who helps me post. Even sometimes I do a content or I make a video and I have somebody that helps me post it always on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. And sometimes I have somebody who support me even posting, because the minutes to post something on LinkedIn, it takes time. It takes time. So I do my own content, but I have support, because we cannot, there's a phrase that I love, we can do anything, but we cannot do everything. So we cannot be a great scientist and publish and have good research, H-index, and be on social media. So most of the people I know, they do have somebody, they have a team, they have a designer, they have somebody who do the actual uploading the post. And we do have, if you have a busy life, which I think you do, maybe we can hire somebody, a student or anybody that can help us, because we can do anything, but we cannot do everything. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ade, Dr. Ahmed, and myself, we were posting, and it was hard, because we have to be the doctor and we have to be the social, the community manager, and we have to do, it's really impossible to do everything, but we can do anything with the right help.
I just want to say one last thing. The most important thing is that you start. If you can do it by yourself, that's great. That's the best way of doing it. And slowly and steady, you will get to the point to have people to help you. But don't use that absence of a big team to not do it, because then you're going to be losing opportunities, and you don't want that. So start slowly at your own pace. Do it today, do it tomorrow, but do it. And if you have, again, any questions, you can DM me and I will answer. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity, for inviting me. Social media is a very wide topic to discuss, and it changes every day. So we have to keep up with what's happening, because everything changed, but the basics are the same.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure spending part of our Saturday with you.
We want to
highly
take a picture together.
Oh,
so
yes, picture time.
Documentation.
For social media.
Sure. So please, everybody, turn on your video so I can see all of you, and we can take a photo together. I'm gonna wait for 1 minute. See you all, and we can have a picture of all us. I will count. So there are okay, only the first one. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Wait, I will take the second one. Okay, smile.
If we're ugly, don't post it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. There you go. I got you all. So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So don't miss, we will have another webinar. Just stay tuned on our social media. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye. Happy Saturday.
Bye.